All right, everyone, it's the middle of the week. That's Wednesday, and we'll get Stevie on slightly earlier than usual as he prepares for his big holiday that I'm sure he's going to mention about 14 times. Stevie, hello, how are you?
Good. I'm preparing for my bed actually. First off, not my holiday. We'll get to that later. Don't worry about that. But I bedtime very soon, Hamish. But as always, fantastic to see you.
Is that it? I thought you were going to add to that.
No, nothing at all. No smugness from me yet.
Yeah, you can tell you're in a good mood. It's lovely to have you on, Stevie. Stuff to chat about as well, everyone. So settle down. We've got stuff to get through. Woke up to a few different news stories today, and even a bizarre link to Lawrence Shankland, Stevie, that you can have 10 seconds to discuss. On you go.
It's good to know that Jack and Ori merchant, who is both our friend, is now editing and writing for these tabloid papers. Hamish, he knows who he is, and it's now he's
Little bit of news on Adam Idah as well, but it's not as actually making an acceptable offer, everyone. Oh no, why would we do that? It's that he's facing disciplinary action at Norwich City, Stevie, after he missed the squad's flight to Austria. Idah travelled solo to Austria as he missed the friendly against Hoffenheim. Here's Norwich boss Johannes Holf Torup on the issue.
Adam some internal issues where he reported late for the flight on Sunday, going to Austria, and we decided that of course he should come as quick as possible. But of course could not be a part of this game today because there's something we can accept and something we cannot accept, and this is a part where we cannot accept it.
Call me cynical, it seems like he's maybe trying to force through a move to Celtic, and I like it a lot.
a good old fashioned come and get me plea that you got in the old Championship Manager to me. Yes, it's fast. I say fascinating. It's not even fascinating or interesting actually when I tell you this. But I was reading, and I don't know how true this is, so the audience might actually have to correct me or not. I might have been suckered by a deep fake lie, as I usually would be, because I'm a boomerang on it. But it turns out apparently Callum McGregor is still in the Celtic group chat. No, Adam Idah is still in the Celtic group chat. Callum McGregor confirmed it earlier today. Said that he's still in the group chat and he's still chatting to the lads. Callum McGregor was said to have said something like, I should maybe keep an eye on it, but it's not really a big thing for me. And you know what Callum McGregor's stance is on social media, and it's why I laud him so much, but I guess we'll get to that later on. But no, it does sound like he's trying to force a move, but really it's all just down to the clubs, isn't it? It's one of the ones there. I think I read the other day that Fiorentina and Verona are interested in Idah as well. So as predicted, he has got options if Celtic aren't willing to play ball with Norwich here. I've now resigned myself to the fact that we'll only have one striker in the squad on Sunday, which I'm not going to be over the top about. I'm not going to say, oh, it's a disgrace and whatever. I think it's very poor. I'm sure we will resolve that, and hopefully it doesn't backfire on Sunday and there's no injuries to for a hash or that. But yeah, the sooner we get in either or any other striker than now that isn't Lawrence Shankland, of course, would be a bonus. I was looking as well, right, Hamish, and do you know how in the free agent market for the centre forwards, well, I read out some options that Celtic are willing to probably go down the route of if we don't go with either. So I just had a wee look there, and they've got the boy Ian Acho, who's worked with Brendan Rodgers before. He's out of contract. His market value is like 12 million, Hamish. So I'm pretty sure Celtic will go for him if Adam Idah doesn't work out.
Is there more on the list, Stevie, or was it just one?
Yeah, there is more. I thought you were going to cut me off actually and just say fascinating, Stevie. Anyway, but yeah, there's Anthony Martial, there is Nicholas Pepe, there's that boy Ben Yedder, who I believe last played with
Yeah, yeah.
Sevilla. Is that right?
Visser
Uh,
Ben Yedder, I believe, Stevie.
that's the boy. Also, well, he's gone down as he's really a right winger, but for some reason they've put him down as a centre forward here on the humble transfer market. Is that Angel Di Maria? An obscure player. I don't think a lot of people have heard of him. You've got that Chupo Moteng boy as well. 35, Hamish, but he could do a job in Celtic like a guy that will just be in for a season, of course. And also the same age, last one I will mention, is Alexis Sanchez. So plenty of options there for Celtic, and of course they'll be very cheap, not expensive at all. So I look forward to the club making a move for one of the offers. I've just done the scouting for them, Hamish.
Yeah. I'm going to confidently say that we'll sign none of those players that you just mentioned. Idah, possibly. I still think it's a move that will happen. I think it's clear that he wants to come to Celtic, isn't it? I mean, he's been kind of playing the game with Norwich up until this point, right from after the Scottish Cup final when he scored that winner and he was asked on the pitch, do you want to be here next season? And he's very much reminding people that he's contracted to Norwich. I guess he's probably reached a point. I don't know. This could be completely separate, missing the flight and the link and all that stuff. But I think it's probably linked, and I think the Norwich manager may even have said that the interest from Celtic has had something to do with it. I've not actually seen those quotes, but I saw someone mentioning that. So I think he is trying to force a move through to Celtic. We just need to pay the money. It's clear there's some sort of. Are you alright?
Sorry, just when you said Celtic paying the money there, they're so chest. I'm alright, I'm fine, keep going.
Yeah, I think there's obviously a kind of disagreement on how much he's worth.
Look,
I just think Brendan Rodgers wants him. Pay the money, assuming it's not something like wild. Just pay the money. We've got enough money there. Get him in. I was doing the Celtic way yesterday, Stevie, and someone put in a great comment. It's one of the comments that's just got me thinking, and I think it was something along the lines of Celtic are like the world champions of killing your buzz, because we're now going to sign. If we sign Bernardo and Idah, it's almost just going to be a bit of kind of relief rather than joy. Whereas imagine we'd signed them first day of the window, or first week of the window, and had them ready and had them all already integrated back into the team during pre-season. Everyone would have been on such a high. Now if we sign Bernardo and Idah, which I think would still be a huge statement, I don't buy all this standing still nonsense, because they're not our players at the moment. If we do sign them, it'll still be great, but now it'll almost be like, oh, thank God that's over, rather than just complete joy at having them in.
Yeah, I don't agree with the standing still part either, because when Jota and CCV were bought, we didn't hit out with that at all, and they massively...
Rangers fans did. It was Rangers fans at that stage.
Yeah.
And it was nonsense.
Exactly, case in point, and who went on to do the treble that season. So, we didn't stand still. They were our players after that, and they significantly improved us. You look at how well we started that second season under Postecoglou. We were terrific. We didn't stand still. They took us forward, and CCV continues to take us forward. So yeah, I don't buy that with Idah Bernardo at all. Seeing the other point as well, like I believe that the fee, people are saying, I don't know what the fee is, but they're saying roughly it's like 7 million or something. But I still think that is a relatively low fee for a guy who helped us win the Scottish Cup. He was he had a huge say in the fact that we won that league title. He's contracted to 2028, and he's an internationalist for the Republic Island as well. And recently he's weighed in with big goals for the national team. You take all that into account, and you look at all the daft money down in the Championship down there. Norwich, by all accounts, you take that all into account and go, by the way, we could ask for more than that. And they've got every right to. So I think the fact that it's roughly been quoted as 7 million, I would say in this day and age, is more than acceptable for Celtic to be paying.
I was thinking about this the other day. See if Idah was a permanent Celtic player. Say we'd signed him permanently in January and he'd gone on to do what he did at the end of the season, and someone came in with an offer of 7 million. Do you think Celtic fans would be thinking we should accept that? I mean, I think at that stage Celtic fans would rate Idah at least 10 million, bare minimum. Now, I know it's slightly different because, his situation at Norwich is not what it is at Celtic. He's not wanted as much as Norwich as he clearly is at Celtic by the supporters, etc. But for me, Idah is is probably a £10 million player. And I know a lot of people right away would balk at the thought of us paying 10 million for him. We've got the money there. What does it matter to us as supporters what Celtic pay? Really, we as supporters want one thing really, and it's Celtic to show ambition and to pay money. But as soon as you get to that kind of fee, suddenly people start going, "Oh no, he's not worth that." Brendan Rodgers loves Adam Idah. Adam Idah was, as you say, arguably one of the top reasons for us winning anything last season, and we won a double. And I don't even think you'll be talking 10 million. I think you're talking, as you say, probably something like 7-8 million. Celtic just need to pay it and get him in, because he would be an absolute star for us, and he clearly wants to come.
Yeah, look, last I'll say on it as well, when it comes to the fee, you remember Daniel James, I believe, was at Swansea, scored less than 5 goals for them in like 30 odd games. And again, I know this is daft money and it's a different market down south, but he went to Man United for just under 20 million. You know what I mean? Swansea down there commanded the fee. You see players down in that English Championship going for very stupid money. 7 million for Idah is more than acceptable. I would say that. I think the majority of Celtic fans would say that, and I never claim to ever speak for anyone but myself. I would never thought for all of the Celtic fans out there. But I would say that, you know, if you were to do a straw poll on it, I think the majority of Celtic fans would say, that's fair game, 7 million for a guy that, you know, helped us to a double last season, internationalist, as I've said, and Norwich, you really could turn around and go, nah, give me a double for him to any other club. So, really good position for him. It makes sense, and hopefully they do get the deal done. I'm with you. I think it's more likely than not that they will, but it's just a case of ironing, you know, what is it, dotting the I's, crossing the T's, all that crap that they've got to do, and who knows how long that will take. This is Celtic. Would it shock me if it was still dragging on till pretty much a month from now, till the end of the windy? No, because it's Celtic. That is just how things are here.
Why do your business early when you can leave it till the last minute? And that may kind of go for what we're about to talk about. An update from Anthony Joseph at Sky Sports News on Hugo Bueno. He tweeted, "Wolves are not interested in letting Hugo Bueno leave the club at this stage of the window. It's understood Celtic are one of a number of clubs who have approached Wolves to take the left back on loan this summer. The Hoops remain keen on the 21-year-old. As I say, I guess we could always just leave our transfer business till the end of August and cram it all into that final week, Stevie. I mean, why wouldn't you do that?
Okay, so just like I did before, do you want some free agent left backs, Hamish? Do you want me to do Celtic scouting for them again?
Okay.
The one that stands out, well, we've got Brandon Williams. He's 23, left back. Who did he last play with, actually? I could click on him, but I can't be bothered.
I want to say Norwich, maybe?
He
was at Man United, certainly, but...
I'm not clicking it, but we'll see. Marcos Alonso, he played for free for us, wouldn't he, Hamish? He wouldn't ask for a lot of money. So there's him.
He was at Barca, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Alexandro as well. Honestly, we would get him for nothing as well, and I'm sure he'd play for nothing. Patrick Van Aanholt. There's that boy. Do you know who we were linked with? Do you remember we were linked with him in January, I believe? And he's now a free. The boy Kurzawa, remember him?
Levin Kurzawa.
Yes. Yeah. Apparently, he was pretty much in the door, said the ITK mob in January. That was right, wasn't it? And then turns out we signed... that's right, Nate. And the last one, do you know what? Nobody else really stands out. Everybody else, I'd say, is... dare I say it, they're beneath us, the mighty Celtic, Hamish, but
wow.
I know there's nobody else I can really say that. There's an old Championship manager hero of mine, Lawrence de Bock. I liked him. There's him too. So I don't say I'm no good to Celtic. I've went and done their scouting for them again. Any of the names stand out to you, Hamish?
Not really, to be honest. They all seem to be a bit older, and I don't. I mean, if it was an exceptional player and I felt it could work, yeah. But I think I want to look a bit younger. I want someone.
Don't we all, Hamish?
Someone with a bit of legs, someone who can really get to the byline. It's weird because we've done really well with right backs over the past few years, haven't we? Like when you look at Frimpong and Juranovic and Johnston now, like we've signed really well right backs. We seem to struggle on the left hand side with Bernabe and Bolingoli. And Greg Taylor's been a good player for us, but I'm not going to go over old ground. I think last week we spoke about certainly wanting another left back in. Let's just say, and potentially someone with maybe a little more drive. I think like an Alistair Johnson for the other side, someone who can really get to the byline. And yeah, I mean, Hugo Bueno is someone the club are interested in. As we see the report, Wolves not interested in letting him go at this stage. So does that mean that we hang on waiting till the end of August for them to come to a point where they want to leave, or do we look for another target? And I think the consensus would be you move on at this stage. I don't think Hugo Bueno, I thought he looked decent enough, and I spoke about it. I felt like his personality would be a good fit for the club and the team, but like I don't think he was like an absolute blowaway performer. There must be other people on our list that we can potentially look to. It's just for me it's such a crucial position, left back. I think it would make a huge difference for us in Europe. Greg Taylor is absolutely fine. I actually really like Greg Taylor. Absolutely fine domestically. He's a winner at Celtic and he'll still have a part to play. But I think for that European level, if we're able to just get maybe a more dynamic left back, I think it'll make a huge difference to the team.
I think we both agree on it. I know we covered it last week and it was like quite Greg Taylor centric at times too. But there's no doubt that a dynamic left back in Europe would make a huge difference. Now, I'm aware that in Brendan's first season we never got out the group or that, but we look at the performances of Kieran Tierney, defensively it was solid, but you think back to the games against Mönchengladbach, it's certainly away where he was driving forward. We created some chances down there. The Man City, I mean, he scored, well, I know it was technically an OG, but you look at what he did to get forward that game. I think it was Zabaleta he was up against that game as well, and it could have been, I don't know, I'll have to look back on it. Great research for me again, world class. But I mean, it certainly would make all the difference. It's something that we've been crying out for in terms of that position. And I'm personally sick of always moaning about it as well with Greg Taylor too, because I don't think he's a bad footballer. But as I said last week, it would be great to upgrade that position. And I think a more dynamic left back would certainly help us out big time in Europe. I mean, just in terms of chance creation as well, because it almost feels like when Greg Taylor's, when we're in Europe in the last couple of seasons, we get to like the halfway line, and then that's it. We don't really build for the left back area there. But if you had somebody who was capable of driving on, was very comfortable linking up with the attack and midfield, and the amount of chances we could create, especially with the fact that we've got Maeda already on the left. I mean, it's a very, very exciting prospect. But again, the ball's in Celtic's court there. I mean, we're on speculating about it, we're talking about it. Celtic really should be proactive and know that it's an area we do have to improve on. And as I said last week, there's nothing wrong with wanting to see the team improve. There's nothing wrong with seeing certain areas upgraded, and it's not as if you're doing a disservice to guys like Taylor, and I'm sure we'll come on to it at one point against Scales and whatever. It's not sneering and it's not being snobby about it. It's just about wanting to see the absolute best for the team and the club, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So I agree with you on your assessment there, and I think after this part, you just start looking elsewhere. Will Celtic do that? I have my doubts. It might try and again go in for him, maybe if there's no movement for Bueno in a couple of weeks, maybe tempt Wolves with something else. But yeah, that's one of the positions that we'll just have to wait and see, because as we've already said, we're touching on it where we're looking as a priority right now with a centre forward with the situation we've got with only one in the squad ahead of Sunday.
Yeah, it's just a position that we need. I just get the impression for some reason that it might be a loan signing at left back, and it might not be. It might be one that we don't necessarily feel absolutely buzzing about as a support, but it might turn out to be a pretty good player. I mean, loans have worked for us in the past. If it is a loan, I definitely want a kind of, what do they call it, a buy clause at the end of it, agreed, because we've seen that work over the years with Jota and Carter Vickers and seemingly Bernardo now. Is today the day for Paulo Bernardo, Stevie? Probably not. What do you think?
No, I do you remember the old Nike Fridays you used to have? I think it's going to be Friday. I think my big shout is we'll sign him and we'll announce it all before the Kelly game. I don't think it's going to be tomorrow, middle of the week. I think it's going to be Friday, end of the week. I think that's when we'll announce him, because by all accounts we've both seen the reports, haven't we, that apparently the deal's done. He did his Celtic TV thing the day, they're saying he's done his medical.
All right, not seen this.
I know. Listen,
is this another one of your sources?
No, not a good one. Somebody else, but it could be a WhatsApp whopper. I fell victim with some of them. We both have, but by all accounts, I have heard that the deal is done, and I'm going to go on record and say that it'll be Friday. And that's not any sources or that. That's just my shoot opinion. But yeah,
okay.
Hopefully it'd be good to have him in the squad for Sunday. It'd be a welcome boost, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. I mean, you'd wonder if he would be at that stage. To be honest, I'm not massively fussed about the squad on Sunday. It's more just a case for me of just signing him, as I say, tick it off and move on to the next player. It's dragged on far too long, but I think Paulo Bernardo will be a really good player for us. Going forward, I think he's going to be a great signing. Latest on Shea Charles, that wonderful player, Stevie, that we've known about for years and years. This comes from Scott Burns at the Daily Record. We are interested in a loan for Charles, but want that to be separate from the Matt O'Reilly stuff, as we reported. What is this? As I told you all yesterday, Southampton, or the chat is that Charles could be used as a make weight. Is that what they call them in the Matt O'Reilly deal? So it could be a case of us getting a chunk of money and Shea Charles potentially for Matt O'Reilly. It seems like Celtic don't want that to be part of the deal, which I think is good news. Call me cynical again, Stevie. I would just maybe rather that a replacement for Matt O'Reilly doesn't come from the club we're selling him to, potentially.
And I'd rather it was an established player, because I think we need somebody who's experienced to a certain degree, and is of a certain level of quality that's up from a 20-year-old who's rather unproven, I would say. And I don't want to sound as if I'm being out of order or harsh there, but look, when I've seen the name mentioned, I haven't even heard of him. One, that's to be expected, because I'm generally an ignoramus anyway, right? But two, I mean, I don't think what would you say the majority of Celtic fans will have heard, or what kind of percentage would you say?
We hadn't heard of Matt O'Reilly, had we? So
no, that's true. That's true. But I think as well, comparing now to somebody like O'Reilly, I mean, how established he is, how brilliant a footballer he is, and how much we'll miss him. I think we need a like for like replacement, and I think if we're bringing in somebody who's like O'Reilly maybe was a couple of years ago, I don't think that's going to wash with fans. I think we're going to be getting in massive money for him, and I would expect we get good money in for O'Reilly. We need to be spending serious money on a guy even with a shred of his ability. I don't think it's fair on the guy Charles as well, because there's going to be so much pressure on him and huge boots to fill there.
But see, when you're talking about that, like when you sell O'Reilly and then you want a good chunk of money spent on his replacement, I agree with that totally. I think not only do I want that has to happen. We can't sell O'Reilly for 30 million and then go back to like the 1.5 million. We have to spend a good chunk of that on a replacement, because O'Reilly is like unbelievable at the moment, and if and sadly when probably he moves on, we're going to miss him so much, because he's fantastic. And I'm just, when you're talking about that kind of player trading thing, I'm thinking of what the previous manager, Ange Postecoglou, said. Remember at that time we were talking about making gains in the Champions League, and his comments were, you need to follow this model of being agile in the transfer window and selling players and then replacing them. And I think basically the idea is, and you see teams like Porto, Benfica, Ajax being really good at this. They sign players for like pretty low sums initially and then sell them for big money, and then the replacements, they spend more money on the replacement because they have that bit more money, and gradually you end up spending more for players, but you can also demand more for players as well. And I think that has to be Celtic's plan here, is that we have to keep growing. So if Matt O'Reilly moves, you then can't go back to trying a player from the English League One, because chances are there's not another Matt O'Reilly player as good at that in the English League One. There might be, but our chances of finding him are probably pretty slim.
Yeah.
You've got to go and get an exciting talent from Europe, potentially. Or maybe one of the kind of top club like Man City's academy or something like that. Someone with real talent who's sought after. And you probably have to pay 7-8 million for your Matt O'Reilly replacement if he moves on. But the good news about doing that is you're still 20 odd million up. That has to be the plan for Celtic here. But I agree with you totally. If Matt O'Reilly moves on, the club need to go big on a replacement. I'd rather he just stayed, to be honest. That would be ideal for us all. Callum McGregor has responded to you, Stevie, your claim that he's been overplayed at Celtic. I just thought of you when he came up with these comments. I'll let you come in a second. McGregor quoted as saying, "I get asked the same question every year if I have had enough rest. People get injured and then come back. It's fine, that's what happens. Just because you get an injury at 30, it doesn't mean you're going to die. It was just an injury and it's fine now. There was no question of surgery. It was a 12-week injury, but you don't have 12 weeks. You've got 5. So let's go. You grit your teeth, and that's what happened. To take 7 weeks off a 12-week injury, people should say, well done. But there you go. That's the job now. It's 11 months of the year, and you need to be on the month and giving your best." Said he was in pain when he came on in the 3-3 draw at Ibrox. Excruciating pain, I believe. I think he's a great captain who I think you need to praise more. Stevie, what's your comeback?
I praise him enough. 22 winners' medals. I think he's one of the best captains I've seen at Celtic. So, no, I'm not going to... I don't agree with that, as if I'm always on his back. I do think he plays a lot, but listen, and I'm not alone in that, but if he can handle it, and I'm sure he knows best, then that's fine. I've always said, look, for all my criticisms and all my worries and everything, people at Celtic, I have to say, do know best. The manager knows more than me, and it's hard to believe, I know. But Brendan Rodgers, Callum McGregor, the staff there, they know far more than me in terms of how fit Callum McGregor will be, how many games he can handle. So that's fine. Just on the outside looking in, you do see all those numbers, that's like 300 and over 300 games he's played for Celtic now. In fact, you know what? I'm going to go and check it while I'm here. I'm not going to be lazy. 312 games for Celtic. There you go. 312 games for Celtic. It's an awful lot of matches. That's all I will say. And you've seen a lot of players in the past that maybe break down for the fact that they've just suffered burnout. And that's where it comes from. I don't want to get on Cal McGregor's back and just give it a told you. So I want him to be able to have longevity in his career and actually keep this going up and get to like hopefully winning over 30 and hitting maybe even 40 medals. How amazing would that be? So yeah, that's where it comes from. Like I just want his, like every Celtic fan, you want to see him. It'd be amazing if he was the most successful Celtic captain ever. I mean, that would be some feat, and hopefully he's managed properly. But listen, if Callum McGregor's coming out and saying he's doing a me, he's saying, listen, don't worry about that, that's fine, then I'll take him at face value on that. But sometimes it just does feel that he doesn't need to be played 90 minutes every single game, but it's never going to change anytime soon, is it? So do you know what? I will just have to go over that, Hamish.
Yeah, I guess it shows that he's so important to club and country, the fact that he plays all those games. It's just not something. Yeah, maybe there's occasional games when he doesn't need to start, League Cup, etc. But like, if we don't play Callum McGregor and don't get a result, the first thing people are going to be saying is, why is Callum McGregor not there? You saw what a clamour there was at the end of last season to get him back so quickly, and I think he and Dyson Maida deserve so much credit for coming back and helping us to that double. I'm kind of joking with you, to be honest. I just wanted to kind of hear what you said, and I know you do praise Callum McGregor.
You got a reaction, Hamish. You got a reaction.
Got to give me that. I just think generally there's if there's one thing I hope that, like, as a support, I'm talking about myself here as well. I'm actually talking about myself mainly. There's one thing from last season I hope we've learned, is to trust this squad of Celtic players more. Because I thought last season the wheels were going to come off. I thought Rangers were going to go and win the league at one point. Look, I'll admit that. There was one point, I think, after the draw at home to Kilmarnock, and they won, I think, the day after against St Johnstone. At that point, I thought, this isn't going to happen this season for us. I doubted Brendan Rodgers. I doubted this squad of players, and they proved me wrong emphatically, and I'm so happy that they did. I think this season, that's the one thing I'm going to take forward, is to have more faith in Celtic, because this is a really good group of players. I think, yes, we need new signings, and I know that, but you look at the guys like Callum McGregor and Cameron Carter-Vickers and Alistair Johnson and Greg Taylor and James Forrest. These guys, and there's so many more, Kyogo, Matt O'Reilly, you go through the whole team, Idah. These guys are winners, and I think domestically this season, if we do come up against difficulties, and we inevitably will, I hope that I have a bit more faith in them, because they didn't deserve to be written off by lots of people last season. Europe's a different thing, and I think most of the chat we've had, Stevie's about Europe and is about signing players for Europe. Yes. Like you, I'm not thinking about signing players for winning the league. I'm thinking, when we sign a player, can they do it in Europe and take us to that next level?
Yeah, you've already seen, like, the chats I've had with you and the other guys. Like, it's Europe is. Listen, Europe's, and I said it last week, Europe is a very strong priority, or it should be a strong priority for Celtic this season. I already did say last week, so I'm not going to cover that ground again. I know that you want to go into Sunday's game, and that's important in itself. The league is important. It's not just a case. I hate when people say, just focus on Europe and patch the league. No, we should have a squad capable for competing in the Europe and domestically as well. I don't think that's out of the realms of possibility here. It can be done. We've seen it with previous Celtic sides. It's just, making sure you, first of all, get rid of the deadwood and the players that we don't need, and fill their positions with players that are a bit more quality. Because, don't get me wrong, like, the squad does suffer. We saw it. There's going to be games this season. There's more Champions League matches, so that's like, a couple more, and you know what it's like when you're playing domestically after, like, the energy sapping matches in midweek. Inevitably, that it's going to be like some not so impressive performances. It's just all about the result, and we suffered at times with that last season. Like, most notably, Easter Road after the draw against, I think, Atletico Madrid, wasn't it? Things like that. So it is going to happen. But yeah, if you invest in the squad and if you bring in players that are, able to, for example, like last season, we had to rely on sometimes like Mikey Johnston and Anthony Rouse domestically, because some players in Europe suffered injuries. But if you upgrade certain positions and key personnel, you've got a better chance of competing in all fronts. So I really want to take us. Bottom line is, you're right. When it comes to signings that we're talking about, it's not just about domestic success here. Yes, I think it's important, just like every other Celtic fan there. But Europe has to be like a key one for us this season. And I'll be really interested to see what other signings we make this season, because it can't just be for the league anymore.
And I think if you deal with Europe, the league takes care of itself. You focus on Europe, view yourself as a Champions League club, get results at that level, and I'm not being funny, Scottish football will take care of itself, because obviously the standard is a hell of a lot higher in the Champions League. But big season for us in Europe. I actually think we're going to do pretty well. I'm looking forward to Europe this year. I think this new format, a couple of extra games, a couple of more winnable games potentially, should be theoretically against pot 4 teams. And I think third season for a lot of these players at Champions League level. I think there might be a bit of confidence there. We've won a game at that level as well. I think that Feyenoord game, as much as it was a dead rubber, we might view that as a pretty big moment in a couple of months' time. But we'll see how it goes. Kilmarnock this Sunday more immediately. 3 points to start the season would be lovely. They play on Thursday, second leg of their Europa League qualifier against Cercle Bruges in Belgium. You're quite fond of Bruges, aren't you, Stevie? 1-1.
No, what are you talking about?
1-1 last week in the first leg, a potential advantage for Celtic with Kelly playing on Thursday. What do you think? What's your thoughts on the match? Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, it'll be good to get back to Celtic Park. I don't think we should be in a position, hopefully not being arrogant when I say it, where we're looking like for advantages with the fact that Kelly are playing before us. I actually watched them the other week against Cercle Bruges, and that's
You're really having a dull summer, aren't you?
no, and it's going to get better. Don't worry about that. But I thought they played well. I thought they competed pretty well, and for the most part, despite the fact that the goal was good old Brexit ball, a big long throw and a header deflecting off David Watson. They played all right stuff, and they didn't just resort to the humble long ball that they can be aware of on that pitch. But yeah, I think you look at Kilmarnock's record against us last season. I know that we won the league at Rugby Park and we battered them, but they were one of the teams that I've said time and time again on here that they came to Celtic Park last season, actually played pretty good football. They got a deserved draw, and although they get beat 3-1 in the match in October, I thought they actually performed pretty well. So they've kept the majority of their team. I think that's a big thing for them. They've kept their better players. David Watson, who I've already mentioned as well. Kennedy and Armstrong, although there's some chat that Armstrong could be away maybe in August. And of course, Vassell is a focal point up front. I think they'll poses some challenges, Hamish, but ultimately, with the way the Celtic team have been performing in the last couple of weeks, and with the quality at our disposal, I don't think we'll have a lot of problems on Sunday. I think the fans will be up for it. It's Flag Day and all, and I think we'll have a bit too much for Kelly. But by no means am I thinking it's going to be like a gimme. I mean, Man City and Chelsea, easy. Don't worry about that. But I don't think it's going to be anything like we've seen in the pre-season matches. It'll be back to blood and thunder for a fair amount of that game, and I think maybe my prediction is 2-0, but it's not going to be like a comfy stroll in the park, will be. I think Kelly will pose us some problems.
Yeah, I think Kelly deserves respect. It's one of the tougher matches we could have had, with it being at Celtic Park. Hearts potentially the only tougher one we would have got in the opening day, because you're obviously not going to get a derby. I think we'll be absolutely fine. I think the team's so confident at the moment. I just can't wait to watch them at the moment, which is a strange thing to say given that we've not even had a competitive game. But I'm counting down the days just to turn that on and to enjoy watching the team, because I think they look right at it. And to be honest, yeah, I think we'll score a good few goals on Saturday.
Sunday, you mean?
Sunday, yeah. Thanks for keeping me right. We won't score any on Saturday, I don't think.
Top Tim award, top 10 points just taken right off you there. Shocking.
Yeah, technically Monday for me, early hours of Monday morning. But yeah, I'm looking forward to. Hopefully, we get a really good start to the season. And it'd be nice to go top of the league, I guess, after the first week and just kick on for there. I think the team are ready to start the season well. It reminds me a lot of a couple of years ago. I just sense there's we did the business last year, got the job done, amazing end to the season, but I sense the team think they can achieve a lot more this year. And I think Brendan Rodgers has been working on things. There's more tempo to our play. We're more keen to get kind of in behind much quicker, I think, than last season. I think we're winning the ball back from teams quicker. It'll be a defensive approach from Kelly, but like we've been able to batter teams at home who have played like that. I mean, we beat Kelly 5-0 away from home when they weren't exactly expansive at the end of last season. So yep, excited to go. Stevie, enjoy your holiday. I know you're away afterwards, and yeah, we'll catch up with you soon.
Hamish, thank you. That sounded very very genuine there. Yes, I'll send you a lovely wee video from a beautiful Venice, and I'm sure you won't be raging at that whatsoever.
Yeah. Right, okay, everyone. Thanks for watching the channel. Please subscribe to the channel if you've not managed to do it yet. I think we're well over 8,000 at this stage. That'd be much appreciated. And back tomorrow.